Imagine harvesting over 100 tons of beautiful tomatoes, only to watch them rot in the sun because nobody wanted to buy them. Meanwhile, another farmer, with a much smaller farm, just a few kilometers away, earned almost 3 times more money from fewer tomatoes. How? He didn't grow better tomatoes. He simply understood the market better. Today's story is about one decision that transformed a struggling farmer into one of the smartest agricultural entrepreneurs in his region. If you're a farmer, agribusiness owner, investor, student, or simply interested in agriculture, this story could completely change the way you think about farming. Because modern farming isn't only about producing food, it's about producing what the market actually wants. Let's begin. In a fertile farming community lived a hard-working farmer named Daniel. Daniel believed one simple rule: the more I produce, the richer I'll become. Every year he expanded: more land, more fertilizer, more workers, more irrigation, more tractors. Eventually, he cultivated over 60 hectares of tomatoes. People admired him. They called him the Tomato King. His fields looked like an endless sea of green. When harvest season arrived, the tomatoes were magnificent, bright red, large, healthy, juicy. Daniel expected buyers to line up. Instead, something unexpected happened. Every neighboring farmer harvested at exactly the same time. Thousands of tons of tomatoes flooded the market. Supply exploded. Demand stayed almost the same. Prices collapsed overnight. A basket that sold for $20 a month earlier now sold for less than $4. Many buyers simply refused to come. There was too much supply. Daniel waited. The prices dropped further. He reduced the price again. Still, the trucks didn't arrive. Within days, perfect tomatoes began to soften, then split, then rot. Thousands of dollars literally melted into the soil. Daniel had achieved the biggest harvest of his life, but also his biggest financial loss. That year taught him a painful lesson. A good harvest does not automatically mean good profits. Discouraged, Daniel attended an agricultural business seminar. One speaker asked a surprising question: "How many of you study market prices before planting?" Only a few hands went up. Then he asked, "How many of you plant first and hope buyers will come later?" Almost everyone raised their hands. The expert smiled. "That's why many farmers stay poor." He explained something Daniel had never considered. Agriculture has two different businesses: growing crops and selling crops. Many people master the first. Very few master the second. He introduced the audience to 4 powerful questions every successful farmer asks before planting. Who will buy? When will they buy? How much will they buy? What quality do they want? Daniel realized he had never answered any of these questions. The following season, Daniel did something unusual. Instead of buying seeds immediately, he spent weeks researching. He visited supermarkets, food processors, restaurants, export companies, local markets. He discovered something surprising. Everyone was growing ordinary fresh tomatoes, but very few farmers supplied processing factories consistently. Factories wanted tomatoes with specific characteristics: higher solid content, uniform size, reliable weekly delivery, long-term contracts. Meanwhile, supermarkets wanted premium packaged tomatoes. Hotels wanted cherry tomatoes. Exporters wanted special varieties. The market wasn't one big customer. It was many different customers. Each had different needs. Daniel finally understood. The smartest farmers don't produce first. They identify demand first. Then they produce accordingly. One processing company offered Daniel a contract. If he could supply tomatoes every week for 6 months, they would guarantee a fixed price. The price wasn't the highest, but it was stable. No surprises, no panic selling, no market crashes. Daniel accepted. His neighbors laughed. What if prices rise? What if the open market pays more? Daniel smiled. What if prices collapse again? The contract gave him something more valuable than high prices: predictability. Banks became willing to lend him money. Suppliers trusted him. Workers had stable employment. His business became less risky. Sometimes, security creates more wealth than speculation. Daniel noticed another problem. Fresh tomatoes spoil quickly. Every hour mattered. So instead of selling everything fresh, he invested in small-scale processing. Tomato paste, sun-dried tomatoes, tomato powder, packaged tomato puree. Suddenly, his products lasted months instead of days. He could sell throughout the year. He wasn't forced to sell during harvest when prices were lowest. Value addition transformed his business. Instead of selling a raw product, he sold convenience, brand, quality, shelf life. Customers willingly paid more. Consumer preferences kept changing. People wanted healthier food, organic vegetables, chemical-free production, traceability, eco-friendly packaging. Daniel paid attention. He earned organic certification for part of his farm. He printed QR codes on his packaging. Customers could scan them and see exactly where their tomatoes were grown. Restaurants loved the transparency. Premium grocery stores signed supply agreements. His products became trusted brands rather than anonymous vegetables. He learned another lesson. Markets evolve. Farmers who refuse to evolve become obsolete. Every evening, Daniel recorded numbers: rainfall, market prices, input costs, transport expenses, customer complaints, sales volume, seasonal demand, fuel prices, exchange rates. Over time, patterns emerged. He noticed tomatoes sold better before major holidays. Transport costs increased during fuel shortages. Prices often peaked several weeks before neighboring regions harvested. Instead of relying on intuition, he relied on evidence. His farm slowly transformed into a data-driven business. Successful agriculture isn't about guessing. It's about making informed decisions. Daniel no longer depended entirely on tomatoes. He added peppers, onions, herbs, vegetables, fruit trees, bee farming, compost production. Some enterprises performed well when others struggled. Different income streams stabilized the business. He also earned from training young farmers, selling seedlings, providing irrigation services, consulting. The farm became an agricultural enterprise rather than a single crop operation. Daniel embraced digital tools. He joined online commodity price groups, weather forecasting apps, satellite crop monitoring, digital bookkeeping software, mobile payment systems, social media marketing. Customers placed orders directly from their phones. Restaurants booked deliveries in advance. He reduced middlemen, improved communication, built customer relationships. Technology didn't replace farming, it improved decision-making. Years later, agriculture students visited Daniel's farm. They expected him to teach irrigation, soil management, pest control. Instead, he handed them a notebook. Inside were market reports, sales charts, customer surveys, financial records, price forecasts. He smiled. Growing crops is only half the business. The other half is understanding people. People create markets, and markets determine profits. One student asked, "What is the biggest mistake farmers make?" Daniel answered without hesitation, "They fall in love with production. They should fall in love with solving customers' problems." That single sentence became the foundation of many successful agricultural businesses. Today's agriculture is changing faster than ever. Climate is changing. Consumer preferences are changing. Technology is changing. Markets are changing. The farmers who succeed tomorrow will not necessarily be those with the biggest farms. They will be those who understand markets, use data, build relationships, add value, manage risks, and continue learning. Remember this powerful truth: produce with purpose, plant with a buyer in mind. Study the market as carefully as you study the soil. Because in modern agriculture, the most profitable crop is not always the one that grows best. It is the one that best meets market demand. If you enjoyed this story and learned something valuable, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone passionate about agriculture and agribusiness. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and remember, the future of farming belongs not just to those who can grow food, but to those who understand the business behind it.